Good afternoon, boys and girls, and welcome to our lesson on musical changes. Over the past several weeks, we've been talking about musical change, and we've been talking about sound poems and how instruments help to tell a story. We've had several opportunities to create our own poems and to create our own sound stories to accompany those poems. It's important to know our what, our how, and our why. Our objective today is that we're going to identify and categorize elements of change in a story by describing the characters, setting, and important events to create and perform a sound story. As I stated before, we've had opportunities to create sound stories using poetry. This is the first time we're going to create a sound story to accompany an actual storybook. You've also read this story before in your homeroom for your language arts lesson. We'll talk a little bit more about that in just a moment. This is a video retelling of the story City Green. I know that you have read this story with your teacher, and if at any time we need to go back and review the story, we have this video as an option.
City Green by Diane DeSalvo Ryan. Read by Mrs. Dujardin.
Here are two of our anchor charts that your teacher provided me with, talking about story elements that you use to retell a story, and about change in a story. Changes such as characters, how they are in the beginning, middle, and end of the story, and events that occur in the story to cause those changes. Story elements are characters, setting, solution, key events, and problems in the story. All of these are important elements when creating a sound story to go along with your story. We have created a poem today that we're going to use as an opportunity for us to demonstrate how change occurs in the retelling of a poem or a story. And I, along with another teacher, we're going to create a sound story to go along with that poem to be an example of what we're looking for today. Boys and girls, now that you are in your small groups and you have all of your materials in front of you, you are going to complete a placemat activity. This is an opportunity for you to work with your group. We've given each group a character in the story. Now we'd like you to spend some time talking with your team about the changes that have occurred with this character throughout the story. Also, you have a selection of instruments in front of you as well. Please use these instruments to create sounds that you feel best reflect the changes that character experiences in the story. We'll be using those sounds later to create our sound poem, our sound story, to accompany the retelling of this story, City Green. I'm going to walk around and meet with each of the groups now. I'm going to talk to you about the work you're creating and answer any questions you might have. All right, it's time for the retelling of City Green. Please follow along as I retell the story. Boys and girls, now it's your turn to accompany our story Please listen for your character's name as it is mentioned in the retelling. That is your cue to perform the sound that you feel best represents the change your character is experiencing in the story. Great job today, boys and girls. Thank you for learning with me and performing with me today as we discussed musical changes.